Story 2. The Whisper of the Wind. There was a small, peaceful town tucked away in the mountains, and within that town stood a humble yet bustling hospital. My name is Grace, and I've been a nurse at this hospital for nearly 15 years. Many heartwarming stories have unfolded in these halls, but one, in particular, has etched itself into my heart forever. This is a tale of resilience, hope, and the profound impact of a single act of kindness. One windy spring day, a timid elderly woman named Ruth arrived at the hospital. She was diagnosed with a chronic respiratory illness, which had recently taken a turn for the worse. Her husband, Jack, had passed away a few years prior, and she had no children or close relatives to rely on. The burden of her illness and loneliness weighed heavily upon her heart. As Ruth's primary nurse, I was responsible for her care and well-being. Despite her frailty and sadness, I could see a fire burning deep within her, a longing to reconnect with the world outside her window. Ruth would often sit by the window, her eyes following the swaying branches of the trees as she listened to the whispers of the wind. These moments seemed to bring her a sense of peace and tranquility. One afternoon, Ruth shared with me her love for poetry. She had once filled countless notebooks with her own verses, drawing inspiration from the beauty of nature and the world around her. However, as her health deteriorated, she had lost the motivation to write. I felt a deep connection to Ruth and was determined to help her rekindle her passion for poetry. I began by bringing her books filled with poems by her favorite authors. We would spend hours discussing the meaning behind each verse and sharing our interpretations. I could see a spark of excitement in Ruth's eyes as we delved into the world of poetry together. Slowly but surely, Ruth's spirits began to lift. One day, as I entered her room, I found Ruth scribbling away in a small notebook. She shyly handed it to me, revealing a poem she had written about the whispering wind outside her window. The words were simple, yet they conveyed a profound sense of hope and wonder. I was moved to tears by her heartfelt words, and I knew that we had to share her beautiful poetry with the world. With Ruth's permission, I began to share her poems with the other patients and staff members at the hospital. Her verses brought joy and solace to many who were struggling with their own hardships. Ruth's poetry had become a beacon of hope, inspiring others to find their own inner strength and resilience. As the weeks went by, Ruth's health began to improve. Her doctors were amazed by her progress, and they attributed her recovery, in part, to the renewed sense of purpose and connection she had found through her poetry. Ruth was eventually discharged from the hospital, leaving behind a trail of inspiration and gratitude. And so, dear reader, I share with you this heartwarming story of an elderly woman named Ruth and the healing power of words. As a nurse, I have come to understand that sometimes the most potent medicine is found not in a pill or a syringe, but in the simple act of kindness and the profound connections we make with others.